Yeah.
All right,
Let's
dude.
do it.
Welcome to the Koutas Show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
I was
course.
looking at your wall there. I see there's a couple people up there. I don't know if I know any of them, but
You might.
I'm guessing they're people that have been on the show.
Yeah, these are the people that have been on the show. Fernando Soccer Shop. I don't know if you know him.
You know, I think I've seen his page. I want to say
Okay.
either he follows or I've been around, I guess, his page somehow. But
Yeah.
I want to say it sounds familiar.
He's probably the only guy up there that's like super into soccer like us. Andy McDermott's another one that's into soccer a lot.
Okay.
Other than that, everyone else is different ventures. You got sports, finances. You know, one
Yeah,
of my friends, Sam, came on for Big Brother. She just loves Big Brother, so
Okay.
she's just like, I want to talk about Big Brother. It's insane right now, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's talk about it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been fun. But
Cool.
let's. How did you pick the name of your company, by the way?
G&TACC.
G&TACC.
Yeah, it's on here. Yeah, it's a crazy story, I guess.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to concise it a bit, but basically, they're traits that we believe are what creates a good soccer player, right?
Ooh.
Everyone, I think, when you get to this level, you expect everyone to have speed, to have strength, to be intelligent on and off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But like grit and having that aspect of controlled chaos to you, I think, are like two things that
Okay.
you can't really put that into a player. They have to come with it already.
Yeah.
You know?
So what does the G then mean?
So that'd be grit. So,
Grit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
So grit
G
and
is
then-
grit, and then the art of controlled chaos.
Art of
TACC.
controlled chaos.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. And it kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, it is the art of controlled. I mean, I've always said that, like, for people that are good at soccer, you have to make decisions fast.
Yeah.
You have to make them with the right technical ability, and you have to make them before the other person does. And,
100%. Yeah.
And that's basically what the art of controlled chaos.
Yeah,
kind of
and
is.
I came across the phrase like kind of later in my life. I obviously, like, once you play at that level, you do it often. You know,
Yeah.
you're always trying to do things quick, fast, aggressive, but you want to make sure that it's clean. You want to make sure you don't mess anybody up or mess yourself up.
Yeah, true.
So I ended up joining the Marine Corps at some point in my life, and I kept hearing it: controlled chaos, and it stuck with me. It made sense. You know.
You're like, you didn't think about it in the Marine Corps, and then all of a sudden you get out and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
This is a perfect name.
I might have heard it 3 or 4 more times after that, but yeah, I thought that it was perfect to use. You know, I thought it kind of encompassed everything that we believe makes a good soccer player. You know, obviously, we know that he has to be good, he has to be technical, he has to be intelligent. But if you get a player without grit and he doesn't know how to time his plays correctly so that it's fast, clean, aggressive, but I think that you miss out on the perfect player. You know?
Yeah,
You'd be
yeah.
the perfect player.
Yeah. So are you more than just the media company that you guys run, or are you guys essentially the media company looking for players?
So what we are, I guess, is it's just me and my brother, right?
Yeah.
So we basically just go out and find the best soccer clips we can find.
I like it.
We don't really do much else other than that. We've met obviously a lot of people from a lot of different places, good teams, leagues, league owners. But for now, that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
We do expect to hopefully have some merch pretty soon.
I like that.
So-
I'll be buying. Don't worry. I got you.
I hope so.
Yeah, I got you, dude.
I hope everyone helps out a little bit.
Yeah.
We want to keep doing this as long as we can, but I was just having a conversation with someone over the phone on the way here. I don't know if it's something we can continue doing for a while. We're gonna try to do it as much as we can, but right now in wintertime, it tends to be a little bit less on the costly side and more on like the cost for time. Like our time
Yeah.
is like right now the most valuable to us.
Yeah, right.
We spend basically all day Saturday and Sunday just out on fields. And we're standing for 12 hours, 13 hours sometimes at a time. Last night we had a 12-hour shift basically between Palatine and GCSL in Chicago. So it's brutal sometimes, but yeah, we're doing it, I guess, because we want to build something. We want to build a brand, and at the same time, we want to build a platform for players to be able to pull themselves up by.
Yeah,
you know?
and I feel like that's definitely something that's I'm starting to see.
Yeah.
Not everyone originally knew what you guys were. Everyone was kind of like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, what are these guys doing
Yeah,
here? Like,
yeah.
these guys are just filming, and like, what are they doing? And now, like, I feel like everyone in Palatine specifically knows. It's like, oh, hey, there's the boys. We're getting that on film. Like, we're getting this player, this goal on film.
Dude, I love hearing that. You know?
So I definitely feel like you guys have developed in terms of, like, knowledge. 'Cause I had no idea who you guys were until, like, this year. And then I'm just like, oh, I see these guys all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's good. You guys are growing for sure.
We try to be wherever we can be, you know?
Yeah.
Some places aren't so fond of us being there, and that's cool, too. You know, at the end of the day, like, we want to be where the good level is at because of the players and the teams.
Yeah. So how does that work? So how are you able to get onto the field and actually film? Do they allow you to? You ask? How does that process work?
In outdoor, we have an easier time, honestly, because we show up and it's typically like we don't ask for anything special. We just ask to have access to the field.
Yeah.
So as long as we can walk around the field like all the other, you know, media people do, then we can get our film. But it's pretty simple. It's just two of us, and we have the same game plan basically. So in outdoor, it's really simple for us. We just talk to the refs and it gets done.
Yeah, and they're usually pretty casual about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, in the
beginning, at least.
In the beginning, I was a bit nervous because I felt like I had to like give them a spiel or something. But after like 3 or 4 games, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's you guys. Just you're fine."
Yeah,
you know,
you're like, "Can we film?" You're like, "Yeah, go ahead." You're like, "Okay, cool."
They don't worry about us. They know that, you know, we don't talk to the players. We don't get involved in any way. I mean, hell, even at Palatine, like I'll have a ball sometimes, you know, hit me or for whatever reason ends up right at my feet, and I don't grab it for them because I'd rather just I don't want to talk to anyone. Like just I do my thing, and you know the players show up for it, and I think everyone gets a benefit from that.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen some of your guys' clips, and they're pretty astounding. So, but then again, it's like the level of play that's tough to like manage because I'm guessing you guys are trying to go towards media credits for higher level leagues. Are you guys aspiring to do that, or are you guys going to sit in the mid level leagues?
I don't really know exactly where we're going to go. We obviously have a plan for this, right? There's a reason why we wanted to build the brand, and I want to say things are falling into place, but at the end of the day, it's like our future also depends on other people, right? We would like to make a jump. We would like to be able to start covering some bigger teams in the area. And like, I'm not talking UPSL teams or like PSL teams or Midwest Premier League teams.
Yeah, you can almost cover the whole UPSL and sign a contract with them or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think they care.
Yeah, I don't,
to be honest with you,
be that organized yet.
Either. And it's definitely not a knock. Like I get it. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, what we are to a lot of people is like just another media company, right? We're one of 1,000 that are knocking at UPSL's door probably and asking to come in. So I'm honestly not too worried about like signing a contract with them or you know, finding a way to work with them. If they want to work with us, like I have no problem doing it. But I'm not looking for it in particular. You know?
I got you. I know what you're saying.
I'm looking a little bit further than that.
I like that.
It's
good.
I think at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is build something that can that can help us, like our family, generationally, you know, and at the same time be able to put something down in Chicago that can help players through generations too. Yeah. So something that, you know, even if I pass away, my kids or my children's children can keep it going and keep giving Chicago players a platform in Chicago.
I like that.
So I think that's huge because I remember when I was playing, I can't tell you how many times I made a save and I was like, dude, I wish someone had that, you know?
Yeah.
And then someone would say, "Oh, I do have it," and then I see it on, you know, whatever device they were using, and I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of trash."
Yeah,
but you don't want to say anything because they at least got it right.
It's in 480p, and you're like, you took that off your Android Snapchat.
Yeah,
like
it's what like potato was this was used for this, you know?
Yeah, I mean the quality. It's like you always think about the moment and you're like, okay, this is gonna be HD perfect, like crazy.
It always looks better in your head, right?
Then you look at the phone that someone recorded off a screen record and you're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, and well, that's kind of also where the idea came from. You know, I grew up playing in the area, so I knew where all the leagues were at. I remember thinking at some points, man, I wish someone had that on video. I wish I had videos to be able to send to colleges during my time where I was thinking about going to college. Yeah. And I feel like that's a pretty universal problem around here. Yeah. There are other companies that obviously kind of do what we do, but you have to hire them to come out. You know, you have to have the money to put down for it. We're free. We don't charge anyone anything. People don't come and typically give us money unless they're really nice people, which we have had. I won't lie to you.
Yeah, that's good.
But I think at the end of the day, what we wanted to do is to build something where players are able to latch onto and say like, hey, these guys are reputable. They're from the area, and I'm here. I'm on the page. I'm quality. Like, I want to be able to associate our name with quality as far as football is concerned in the city.
I like that.
Or at least
That's
around the city.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I feel like you don't necessarily need like hey, you can pay me to like go on film. If you don't pay me, I'm not filming. Because at the start of anything, honestly, like all the advice that I've seen online is always like, go do it for free. Go do it for free for 2 years. And then someone's going to be like, I need you to do this. You'd be like, I'm booked already. And be like, okay, fine. I'll pay you $150 to do it. And you're like, okay, I'll do it. I was doing that one free, but you're paying me to be here, and I like both of you guys, so I'm gonna be like, hey, I'll go where the money's showing me because I need some funds.
Sure.
But do you guys think that you can get money through monetization? Because I don't know if you know SB Mowing at all. I don't know if you ever watched any of those videos. Sitting scrolling on G&TACC.
I want to say I might have picked up on a guy that he like cuts lawns for a living.
Yeah,
right?
that's SB Mowing.
Yeah.
So he doesn't charge anything, and he just makes the content. He just makes money off the content.
Yeah.
So you guys trying to go that route and make like monetization?
I'll be honest with you. I really haven't explored monetization as much on other platforms.
Okay.
Our biggest platform right now is Instagram, and as far as monetization is concerned on Instagram, it's not possible for us.
Yeah, it's like 100K, isn't there something crazy?
It's not even by follow count.
Oh, it's not?
No, I want to say that Instagram pays you on how many people tune into your lives. So
interesting.
Yeah, you can start a live video, and then it depends on how many people give you stars, and I guess they can pay for those stars, and that money goes to the creator somehow.
Wow.
A lot of the platforms have done a lot of like revamping to their contracts for creators or whatnot.
Have you looked into other platforms yet, or are you still just trying to grow the Instagram first, just to get your name out there?
Well, I'd like to grow everything, but it's really not up to us. The
algorithm ain't nice to everybody.
Dude, we put the content out, and we try not to fluctuate in difference as far as like what plays that go up. But we just noticed right off the bat that Instagram was the one that was giving us the views.
Yeah.
It just made more sense to go the Instagram route than anything else. But I don't feel like the money that we want to make, we're going to make from platforms anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like what we want to do is it has to come a little bit more from the people, versus like waiting for other institutions to pay us, because at the end of the day, the institutions don't really care. That's what I've gotten out of this last year and a half. That a lot of these big institutions, like I said, you're just one of 1,000 trying to get in.
Yeah. I think the people you might be targeting, though, should be like a parent. Because I know that there's some parents out there that are crazy about every parent is like, I want to do everything for my kid. I mean, you got a dog, I got a dog. I would do anything for that dog. I'd be like, you need a treat, you need a different toy, I'll go get it. Like, 100%. No problem.
And I know,
feel like the parent would definitely be like, I need you to film my kid, so I can get clips. Or something.
We've had parents reach out. I know that avenue exists. But to be quite honest and quite frank, the page was kind of built around everyone in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't built just in Palatine. It wasn't built just at GCSL or just at Midwest or at Glassa or at Douglas League. Like, this is Chicago as a collective. Because I do believe that quality exists everywhere in Chicago. One team doesn't have that quality. One league doesn't have it. One player doesn't have it. It's everywhere. So by us having to let go of that, again, keep in mind, it's just me and Alex. There's no one else helping us.
Yeah.
So everyone and their mom wants to play on Saturday at 6 p.m., right? And we work better when it's both of us versus one at each game. Because we work with cell phones, because there's a lot of factors, right?
Yeah.
But to me, having to do that would be stopping what we produce for the page to give to one player, and they might be happy, but in reality we would have gotten nothing for the page, because there's a big difference when you have to go record one person versus being able to record everyone at a quality game.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of just like a cost analysis of each one.
That's what it really comes down to. I have to be efficient with our time. There's not a lot of I guess that's the hurdle. There's not a lot of institutions that want to pay us for that time. So I have to find where it makes more sense for us to put that time.
Yeah, because your time right now is probably the most valuable thing on your clock. Because it's like that time is you need to be essentially in front of the content that you need to create to build the platform, to build then an interest of people inviting you for contracts.
That's
so
why the platform is there.
Yeah.
You know, that's why the page that's why it came to be what it is. I didn't make it like that. Alex didn't make it like that. The algorithms did.
Yeah.
It's what the people want to see, you know, and the people want to see the best soccer/football in Chicago. So that's what we bring. We bring the best we can find.
I was going to say, do you ever go to the Rockford tournaments? Like the state cups and president's cups and
not
those youth
really
tournaments?
The only reason we don't is because they're youth tournaments.
Okay.
People can get really, really finicky around with having cameras around children. And as they should be, right?
Yeah, right.
But it's just an aspect that, again, like we don't make anything from this, right? There's no money coming in from this. So we don't want to go do something that is going to get us in trouble,
even more trouble, and
take away more from something that's not helping in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So that's really the only reason why. I've told Alex plenty of times, I grew up playing in those tournaments. I know that they're there. I know that they're quality. I know that what we're watching is basically professional for little kids. Yeah. Because that's all they do. They go to school, they train. They go to school, they train. It's as close as you can get to a pro life without having, you know, the I guess the speed,
and the giant
strength,
contracts and the money behind it too, and
right. Which in my opinion, it makes it a little bit more genuine too, because the kids are there because they want to be there. Yeah. So they play their hearts out. You know, they're good games. They're good quality games, and I know because I was part of a lot of those games, and we played them with intensity. We played them with heart. Sometimes we would lose the games, but you wouldn't come out, you know, feeling bad about it because you would have given it all on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and also it's like a team game that you've been building up with your teammates for years, right? And years and years. And where sometimes the adult leagues, it is building through years, but it's not like 3 days a week training like it used to be. Because some of these adult leagues, I mean, they don't necessarily have trainings a week. Maybe they have once per week because of the money's not there.
And there's a big difference, man. There's a big difference between you can take the same player without training, you know, 2 or 3 times a day for a week for the last 6 months, and take a player that's been out for 6 months. There's a massive difference when you get them on the pitch. And you can tell in their energy levels. You can tell in the way that they touch the ball, the way they stop a ball. They're not as hesitant on it.
Yeah, that confidence goes a long way.
Yeah, it's like, huge.
I always say repetitions is confidence. Yeah, because it's like the whole Steph Curry statistic where it's like he shot, I don't even know. It was like 200 million, or I don't even remember what the stat was. It was in the millions though of shots.
But how many shots is that man not taking in his life? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, he said it was like, I think it was 1 million shots or something like that, or like I forget what this entire statistic was, but essentially 1 million shots just to make 66,000 in the games. Yeah. And it's like the ratio is like 1 to like 1,000. Yeah. It's like however many he made in the game is like 1,000 shots in the background in practice, which is like crazy. He shot 500 shots a day, every day for like 10 years.
But that's how you get good. Yeah. You know, that's the only way you get good is by constant repetition, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And when you get tired, you do it some more, you know? Yeah.
I was going to say, you guys basically have constant repetition of filming every single Saturday and Sunday.
And you'd be surprised. We still miss a lot, man. There's still a lot of it is because like we have to delete the same time that we're filming if we want to like keep up with the space. Okay. Okay. And just because it also kind of relieves the workload, because if we go home with an entire 40-minute game in our cell phone, like it's going to be hell to find those clips. So we have to like film, and then once the play is done, we stop, we go back, and then we should already, you memorize the play, you know what just happened. So you know if something happened or didn't. And if it didn't happen, nothing happened, then you just delete it. If it's a good one, then you favorite it and you go on to filming some more.
Interesting. Okay,
so sometimes in those 10 seconds that you're doing that, something will happen on the field and you miss it. You know?
Yeah. Do you use the adapter? I have an adapter. I don't know if it's here, but do you ever use the adapter to save it to SD card right away?
No, it just stays on the phone. Okay.
I'll show you after the podcast. I'll show you it. I'll show you what I use. It's really nice. So maybe you can like have it on your phone, film a clip, and then like plug it in, save it if you need to save it, and then you can open up tons more space. Yeah. Because that could be a possible avenue to get more clips without having to delete more.
Yeah, I mean we're really low tech. I think we've gotten away with it up until now because most of it, if not, I think all of it, stays in the phone.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, so like we do the whole process on the phone. We film there, we cut it down there, we add the watermark there, and then we upload it from there. You know, so
that's
like
super easy,
dude, it's awesome. I can do it
awesome.
I don't do it at work, right? But I could do it like if I'm like having a 30-minute lunch break, I can pull out the phone and I can, you know, do
throw
it from
some
there.
clips together.
Yeah.
Is it pretty quick to do the clips?
It depends. It depends a lot on the process that you have when you actually do film. Alex and I differ a little bit. But for me, like the way I do it, I break the game down in plays basically.
Yeah.
So the videos tend to be, before I edit them, they tend to be anywhere between 20 seconds. I've had videos up to a minute and a half, minute and 40 minutes, a minute and 40 seconds, sorry. But again, like if something good happens, then I'll save it and then I'll go back to it later. And even if it's a minute and a half, I know that there's something there. There's a reason why I saved it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll try to scroll through it quick. If I see something that caught my eye, then I'll stop and I'll go back and then I can edit it through there.
Okay. So you film the whole game then?
No.
Or you just do the clips?
No, just the clips.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you delete the ones that aren't good.
Yeah. So we can,
like
let's say we come out of a Palatine game, which are 240 or 220-minute halves.
Yeah.
Let's say we come out of each game with about anywhere between 20 to 30 videos. Which at the end of the day, you know, once we have all the videos, we probably end up with 120, 150 videos, of which we would have already recorded maybe over 900 videos. And only those make it, right?
Yeah,
at the end
that's
of the
a lot
day,
of
like
videos.
130 videos. And then even from that, like from the one game, let's say we have the 30 videos from the one game, we might only end up using 3 or 4 from that one game.
Yeah, you kind of just got to like select which ones that you like.
You
the
have
most.
to. Unfortunately, like I would love to be able to toss up, you know, little Timmy's goal that from the back post, you know, a little tap in. I can't do it, you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they have to look decent so that we can put them up to the page. Otherwise, they don't do as well.
Yeah.
And you can tell in the viewership numbers. You know, sometimes I want to be a little bit nice and put something up that was it was all right, but I know this guy, he's a good guy. I'm gonna put it up, and it gets like 2,000 views, you know, and I get like 30 likes, and so I have to be a little careful with the page too. If we do hold any kind of value at all as an institution, it's through what our social media pages are. And if I can't even flaunt that we have at least a little bit of views, you know, it's kind of pointless. It's kind of useless for anyone to use.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have, what's your largest one? 2.1 million or?
I think
soccer's one.
As far as viewership, I think we have a Chicago Fire academy team game. It was an academy team game. It was a UPSL game. They played Round Lake Evolution. I don't know if you might have been in that game.
I was not in that game, but I know all the boys in the team. Shout out Round Lake.
Yes. That was at Barrington. That was at Canlan Sports.
Okay.
I think that video, the last time I checked, might have had 18 million views.
Woo.
Yeah.
That's numbers right there.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's like, what is it? Like maybe an 8-9 second video.
Yeah.
So not bad. And I think the one that the second from that is the POW play, which also happened there at Canlan, ironically. Most photographers hate that place.
Yeah, which is interesting.
I can tell why, but
is because of the net on the upper deck, or why do they not like it?
I think it's because of the tripod stuff. Because you have to be further away from the field. That's our huge advantage with the phones, man, that we're so mobile.
Yeah.
You know, we're so versatile. I can catch a play, the Samsung's like legendary for its zoom.
Yeah.
I can catch a play like all the way in Alex's side. Maybe not perfectly, but I know he's probably got it, right? So I'll start it from there and the play will end up on my side, which I think is kind of what happened that in that play. I was probably trying to catch it on the other side and he had it, going down his side. So because he has the phone, instead of having a camera where he's doing this and he has to tilt down, he's got a phone where you can just do this.
Yeah, you can just kind of swivel left to right.
Yeah. So, yeah, you have to be accurate, right? It's you have to know what you're shooting at. But as long as you get the kind of gist of it and you mess with the zoom, you don't just kind of sit there and keep it at the same zoom or
Also, your game knowledge is pretty hefty in there, so you're gonna know what's gonna happen in the play if something does happen too.
I like to say that we pay attention to the game. I don't know if we know a lot about the game, but we watch it a lot.
I was gonna say you have to pick up on plenty of moves and plenty of different things because you've probably seen it all.
It's wild. I've always been kind of like I wouldn't say a tactician, but I've always been a stickler for it.
Yeah.
And I think now more than ever, like being able to see it on camera and like being able to break down plays from certain angles, at Palatine, for instance, I don't know if you've seen the stairs that are kind of behind the goal there.
Yeah.
But I love being up there. We stopped doing it just because like I feel like the plays get a little bit more notoriety when you're closer.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're doing it from up there, man, you can really see like the formations that are being played.
Yeah, the tactics and everything.
You see players making runs. You see the spaces that open up behind them. You see how other players react to that player's run. It gives you a whole different aspect than when you're actually on the field.
Yeah.
And
maybe
really,
I got to sit up there for a little bit.
I've got to say, I've noticed one of the only coaches that does it is one of the soccer's coaches.
Okay.
He's always either up on
he's
one
always
of
up
the
there.
stairs.
Yeah.
I can see why.
Yeah, he
That's
is.
probably what he's doing
that.
is looking at formations and looking for weaknesses. He's a smart man.
That is smart. Now that you say that, I do remember him always being up on the stairs, and I was like, what is he doing up there? I thought it was just so he can yell louder and people can hear him easier. But
no, he can see the game differently. It's it's different. It's cool. It's cool to see.
I'll have to check it out next time I'm there. I'll just go walk up there and watch a game for like 30 seconds a minute and be like, all right, I see what you're saying.
You know what's a good game to watch? Watch a Schwaben versus any soccer team.
Any Schwaben versus
any Schwaben team? Versus soccer.
All right.
In particular, I think the young Schwaben kids probably have it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But the older Schwaben kids also they know how to play. They know how to play their lines well. And that coach I think knows what he's doing. You can tell that he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So those are good games to watch if you want to see a more tactical game.
The tactical games.
Yeah, that's a good one to watch.
All right, I got you. Which soccer team? The U18 one, I'm guessing.
I mean, if you want to see a banger, of course.
Yeah, of course. They're pretty good. They're always solid.
I've got to say, like, I know not a lot of people are so enamored with the soccers around here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't say around here in particular, right? But I've heard other people maybe not talk so well about them. I love the way they play.
Yeah.
I love that they instill the tactical side of the game so early on. You can put a U17 team in there, a U16 team, and I don't know about their young teams, but I would assume that you can still get pretty young and they understand what position they're playing, how they're supposed to be playing it.
Yeah.
They're very well drilled kids.
Yeah.
Their coaches have them spot on. You can tell that they don't just show up to practice to play. You can tell that a lot of these kids are being taught the game a different way.
Yeah. So a lot of the things that people don't like about soccer's is that they move players throughout teams a lot.
Yeah.
So each week you can play on a different team.
Yeah.
So each weekend you could play on this team versus this team versus this team, and there's never like one team you're solely on. That's one of the things I've heard. Another thing I've heard is that it's just expensive, and
it is expensive,
and they accept everybody. So it's like, and I don't mean they accept everybody, meaning like they accept like everyone that walks in that like can't even walk, but they accept if you're like relatively okay at soccer, they basically bring you in because they want more money, more revenue, so they can continue to develop and pay coaches and stuff and facilities. But then also the one thing that they do a lot is they compete at a high level, but then they also have the kids that have the really big egos.
Yeah.
Bro, and you always have the soccer's kid that's got the big ego. But not all of them are like that. But like in high school, that was like the thing. It was like, yeah, I play for soccer's. And everyone was like, I didn't ask. Thanks, bro. I didn't ask.
I have such a like I'm torn between pay to play, and having a more free system for people. And I think my main I always want to argue for pay to play. I'm sorry, against
for the free
for the free, right?
For the free play.
That's what I want to argue for, but then I come across institutions like the Soccers, and I'm like, man, there's a reason pay to play exists,
Yeah.
They may have to pay a lot to get their kid there to be taught by people that know what they're doing, but I think for the same reason that they pay a lot of money, the kids tend to be more involved. They're more committed, and the parents are definitely committed.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I come from a Hispanic background. Most of us, like the saying in Spanish is bueno, bonito y barato, right? good, nice, but cheap, right? It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as good, nice, and cheap, right? If you want quality, you're gonna have to pay for it, you know. And for me, soccer's are that testament. Yeah, they do charge pretty buck to to join their ranks, but they have coaches that are committed. They have staff that are committed. They have the players themselves. You can tell they're very committed, and you can tell just by the intensity they put into every single game. You know, when they play. Maybe 90% of these kids aren't going to be anything, but you at least instill a sort of discipline in them.
Yeah.
So I got to give them that. You know, I don't think they would have that commitment from players if they were just free. I've seen what free institutions look like, and they're a shit show.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I think the ones that are run poorly are a shit show.
Yeah.
I also think that the disconnect between professional soccer and the money in America, in terms of the money in America in soccer, is lacking to where they can't actually afford the people to play for free.
Yeah.
Like we're just too young of a system, and also a broken system, to not have that. I think the reason that it's free for those kids in England and those kids in Germany is, number one, the selection process. I don't know if you've ever heard of the selection process before.
No.
But they specifically have like a limited amount of players for each age group, and they only select those players. So you have to fight for a spot. Like there's no like, we accept everybody to come in. Like, we want you to play. We want you to play. Like, you can pay. It's okay. But you play. Like 4, 5, 6 teams for an age group. Like, they have a selective amount, and that selective amount is completely free for like limited space. For instance, say they have like there's only a certain amount of time in the day. There's only a certain amount of fields, etc. And then the connection to the professional league, they like buy and sell academy players all the time. So if the money they're making from academy, one kid sells for 11 mil to another club,
they get a small
like that 11 mil goes back to the club, goes back to the academy, and spreads across that fees of all of the coaches and all of the players and all the renting of the fields.
It's a good system, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great system. So I think the reason that we're lacking and we have to pay for a lot of things, we don't have a professional system for these kids. No soccer's kid has a contract with soccer's professionally to have, when he gets sold to, say he goes to like any European country or even like in the MLS, like they get drafted for free.
Yeah.
Like, it's free. And they don't actually get sold into a team where the money comes in and pays the club that built the player. There's no connection there. So that connection being lost allows for absolutely $0 to come back to the academy. And that's why you have to pay, because I mean, dude, it costs money for the coaches to be there. It costs money for the fields.
For sure.
It costs money for this. And the reason soccer's and like Libertyville, the reason they're more expensive is because they're private clubs, so they don't get funding from their local communities. Like Palatine doesn't fund them at all because they're all private.
Right.
But that also means that they pay their coaches more, which is like, again, why you care more. You care more because the coaches get paid more and they're more qualified. And because they get paid more, they're more qualified, they're more experienced. They're going to give your kid more knowledge. More knowledge turns into more experience, better competition, and then that's why you're kind of seeing the results you're seeing. But then ultimately, what it comes down to of what we need, and the difference between us and like the free system in Europe, is we need the connection to be able to have these kids give back via like transfer fees and all of that. But
I agree,
it's just not connected yet, and that's why you still have to pay so much money for all these clubs.
See, I had heard something around those lines that that didn't exist in the US, where a player who just got sold to XYZ club, their transfer fee, some of that trickles down to the academy team that he came out of. I had heard, I think it was after the last World that we crashed out of, the last World Cup that we weren't a part of, that was a problem, and I just don't know if that ever got addressed or not. I guess I never kept up.
I don't think it ever got addressed. I still think the system
terrible,
is broken.
Man. That's terrible.
But we're so young. So they just released, and this is another thing that I was like, this is weird. They released the structure pyramid for the U.S. soccer. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah,
okay. So it's like MLS at the top, and then it's like Championship, USL 2, and then it's like UPSL, NISA, like all of that. And then at like the bottom, it's college soccer.
And it's
really?
Like, at the very bottom?
Blows my mind that college soccer is at the bottom for some reason. But again, the pyramid doesn't even mean anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. Like, none of that means anything. No USL 1 team can win and go to the MLS. No MLS team can lose and go to the championship.
There's no regulation, promotion.
There's no promotion regulation. There's no opportunity for anyone to get into another division above or below, or move or up or down, or build a community. Because, I mean, it all stems around building a community around that club. Like, building a community around your social media. Say your social media is attached to soccer's, and then soccer's goes from USL 2 to USL 1, and you're the guy, and they're like, we just got to upgrade, so we need you to do more content, we'll give you more money, and then more fans come in, and then they win again, they go to that big leagues, like, there's no like big story around it. Because there's no big story, there's no investments, there's no money towards it, and it just kind of like dwindles out. That's where I see the problem. And
I can see it.
It's just the disconnect between college, professional, and amateur and youth is like, it's just a broken pieces, and they just need to just, man.
You can go almost anywhere outside of the U.S. and people can be pro at 16, 17.
Yeah.
And here people don't start being pro until they get out of college.
Like 22 or 21. Yeah.
23. I've seen 24.
And at 23, that's like mid-career.
Yeah, that's
like.
Are you kidding me? You
at 28, you're like old.
Yeah, it started at 24 anywhere that's not the U.S. for soccer, man. They'll laugh you out.
Yeah.
You know?
They'll be like, you know what? Like,
people have been in for 10 years already. Yeah.
You're like, I have like 6 years experience on this team. You're like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm just trying to get a contract for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sad. The same age as you. Like, yeah, it's rough. I think college breaks it off. I think one of the things that I thought about earlier this year was like, okay, so who are the kids that are most likely going to college? And it's usually like, okay, it's your suburban kid, right? And your suburban kid who grows up in the suburbs, like their parents make kind of money. They don't make like crazy dollars, like millions and millions. But they make enough, And then they're like, okay, well, I need, to get a job later in life, to make some money so I can survive and, be okay. And so they're like, okay, I play soccer, and they're a pretty good soccer player, but they're like, oh, like, I'll just go to college. But instead, like in Europe, it's like, I don't want to go to college. I want to play professional athlete. I want to play in the academy.
Yeah.
So there's like the 14-year-old to 18-year-old gap of like, hey, you're prepping for college versus like, hey, we're prepping for the academy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's totally missing. And then like the kid's motivation doesn't go anywhere. And then we just lose a lot of potentially good soccer players that could have been unreal. Yeah. But we just lose them in the like youth soccer process, I feel like.
I think the fact that we require our athletes to be good students loses us a lot of good players too.
Yeah.
And that might be a conversation not a lot of people like to talk or bring up. But that stunts a lot of kids.
Yeah, like
our school system
Our school
system's already broken, and then when you hold somebody's feet to the fire, on a broken system already I just feel like it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I think that the soccer schools need to be a thing if we're actually going to be good at soccer.
Yeah.
It's all about the relative goal of what the United States wants to be.
Yeah.
Because if they don't really care about soccer,
they don't care. Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah,
Scratch it. We don't need anything different.
I'm pretty sure. Like, I think Germany, their actual government gives their federations money so that they can have a decent.
Yeah,
squad.
like their soccer federation.
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
So they have like one of the best like soccer scouting networks like on the planet because they can have like facilities up in the mountains of who knows where, and it's in walking distance to the little kid in the village that plays, and it's decent. We don't have that here. Like,
so we have to get a soccer president. We got
G&TACC for president.
G&TACC for president. So we need a soccer president and be like, all right, guys, we want to be America's dominant. So let's make America like soccer dominant, and let's do like this million amount of funding. We're gonna do this structure. Like,
it might happen after the World Cup.
It might, if depending on how it goes.
Yeah. Well, I think the last time that it was here, it grew pretty big.
Well, and it's funny because that was the women's.
Yeah.
Like 1999. Like in LA, California, that's like those kids are now 24 years old. So the generation, that soccer generation of girls was like the Alex Morgans, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing that generation grow up too. But we need a boys side that's like,
yeah,
we need an inspiration from the boys side. Like,
I'm like really holding on to this notion that after the World Cup, the game's going to grow huge here.
I hope.
Massively. I want to say it's obviously it's been a joint bid, right? So
Mm-hmm.
some of them are going to be here, some of them are going to be in other countries, but just the mere fact that we're going to have World Cup games here, I hope people are out tailgating. I hope like it gets massive, and
Yeah.
who knows, man? Maybe soccer turns an eye, and or the soccer federation says
Yeah.
to the government, "Hey, help us out. We want to do something. We've got a huge following, and something happens." You know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you get these football heads and you get them like, hey, just let you know, when football's done, soccer still goes.
Yeah.
And here's plenty of entertainment for you.
There's still a lot of animosity, man.
And then they
with
like,
football.
but the thing is, it's like
With
football
American
ends like next weekend, like this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Right.
And say soccer's right after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turn your football fanship into a soccer fanship and go to the games, go support your teams. You know, like we have to build the story around them. The biggest thing I think is you need to build around the players.
Yeah.
And like it's proven story because Messi comes to Miami and fills up every single stadium that he goes to.
Yeah.
And even when he doesn't go, like in Chicago, he didn't go 2 years in a row, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The whole stadium was so much more full than I've ever seen in the entire time I've been watching games.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that he's on that team and that's the Messi team.
Sure.
He could possibly be in the stands, you know, like the possibility of him being there. So like building around a player or players, I think is going to be the way to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see if the government will actually subsidize something or like give like tax breaks to businesses or something.
I doubt it.
It would have to happen after the World Cup. It would have to happen after the World Cup.
Yeah.
It would be some president who's like, we're not good enough. We need to be the best at everything.
The one we have.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The one we have, but
he wants to be the best at everything. Why not?
Yeah, we basically need the Mexican-American Donald Trump. That's what we need. That's what we need.
Yeah.
So that way we could...
G&TACC for president.
G&TACC president. So we're going to have you go as president. Let's see. Well, Messi can't be vice president because that would definitely make soccer the best. But maybe Clint Dempsey, vice president,
Clint Dempsey, yeah, why not?
We'll put Landon Donovan.
Tim Howard.
Yeah, Tim Howard. We're just building up the whole presidential cabinet there. And then we're just going to be like, all right, mandatory soccer practice, every high school, every elementary school.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be able to find 11 players, 18 players to field to beat the rest of the world.
Yeah. Dude, you'd be surprised. I've been at some places where I'm like, really, this is the best 11 you guys can come up with, Some people don't have an eye for it.
Which places?
I'd rather be reserved.
Yeah. Which places?
I have to be careful, man.
I know. I'm just what area? What relative area? Chicagoland areas?
In the Chicagoland area.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, some places you do have a coin flip. It's true.
Yeah.
But some days, you have players that are playing at other teams in other leagues too. So it's kind of hard because it's like this could be their complete reserve squad.
Yeah.
So it is tough.
Yeah.
You never know.
No. I mean, honestly, the teams that we record, we know what to expect from them, and we know what kind of games they can give us. It's more so like teams that haven't let us in. And I think there's a reason for that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like they don't want you to be there?
No.
Like they specifically say, no, we don't want you here.
They don't specifically say it, but like we've reached out and they don't answer phone calls. They don't answer emails.
That's so weird.
We see them on the spot and we're like, hey, and they're...
And do they not have like a media person already?
So it's different. And again, this goes back to like what we do is a little bit different than what most media people do, right?
Right.
I think you see us and you think, oh, it's just another photographer, right? One of 1,000, right? But what we do in particular, the videos that we make, it's very hard to find somebody that knows how to make those videos the way we do.
Yeah.
And if there's not, I hope somebody's proving me wrong, and can put them out the way we do.
Yeah.
Because I have yet to see another institution in the Chicagoland area that can make the videos the way we do, and we do it with cell phones. So, it's not the same. You can have your own media person that is in charge of getting your nice goals and your nice shots and all that, but I can guarantee you they're not going to get every single play the way we do. We're so in tune with the game. We're watching it at every second. We don't stop recording. We're always there. It's hard for us to miss a play. If we miss a play, it's because we're human. But other
Everyone
than
makes
that,
mistakes, but yeah.
yeah, other than that, we don't mess around. You know, we show up and we do our work. We're not there to take pictures of crowds. We're not there to take pictures of the players or to take pictures of the ball rolling or like screw all that cinematic stuff. We don't do any of that. Right?
You're like strictly plays everything.
Game.
Yeah.
Soccer, football, the players, the ball rolling, no nonsense. That's it, right?
I love it.
But no, I guess a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised. Some people try to go a little bit extra sometimes, and some people don't know how to do it at all. Like we were talking about the 480p, like terrible audio quality. Everything's terrible.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say we have the best quality, man, but I can guarantee you this. I can guarantee you that the play we're catching it, right?
Yeah. I mean, really, all you need is it needs to be defined. You need to be able to see the ball clearly. You need to be able to see the movement of the players, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be like blurry background and clear foreground. Like everything doesn't need to be perfect.
90% of your screen is the player and the ball, and it's like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sure the player is very happy for this video, but show the play, dude.
Yeah, like you need to see
show
the other
who's
players
behind him, who's around him, who's closing in on him, what options does he have? Like you're so enamored and focused on you, you know, like open it up a little bit. Yeah. Show everyone what they actually want to see.
It's the worst part about soccer movies. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that's why a lot of the teams that don't reach out or don't want to do any kind of business with us at all is that I think it's
because of that.
Yeah,
because they're like, wait a second, we might not have good enough content for you guys.
No, I don't think it's that. Like they're quality programs, bro. Like they can play. You know, I've watched them play, but it's more so that they want to have like the cinematic stuff on their page. They don't really care about the soccer. They don't care about the football. They care about how they look.
Interesting.
You know? So us, like, we're only football. We're not taking pictures of people at their flashiest or, you know, when they have the ball or we're not doing any of that crap. We're getting the plays, you know, and if you get rolled over in a play, you get rolled over, bro. Like it happens. Yeah. And we're gonna put it out.
If you get knocked around tiki taka and the backdoor pass happened,
it's gonna go up.
That's gonna go up. I hate to be that guy. Even if you invited me, I'm still putting that up.
I think that's why they don't want, you know, to bring us in sometimes. And I mean, it is what it is. I guess we can be a double-edged sword sometimes in that aspect, you know.
Yeah, but I always say the saying of like, I'll always be where people want me to be. If I'm not invited, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah.
I don't want to invite myself somewhere I'm not invited to. If you're not thinking about me, I don't want to be there.
Exactly.
So, in that retrospect, I think you guys are solid.
Yeah.
Like you know, I feel like you guys already have pretty good spots. I want you at Palatine all the time. You guys do a great
Thanks,
job
man.
there.
I appreciate it.
It's always fun to have you guys around there too. We get to yell at you, score a goal, we point to the camera sometimes.
I love it, man.
I know some people do that. So.
Heck yeah, man.
I love it. I mean, there's been plenty of attempt bicycles in there too. So
yeah. I haven't caught one yet. I got one, but it wasn't all that. And I don't want to tell the player that. Well, if he's watching, he probably already knows that.
He probably already knows.
Sorry, man.
It's definitely not Jerry. I can tell you that. Because every Jerry bicycle kick is like nasty.
I haven't seen any. I've seen some of his like long range shots. Man.
Oh,
dude can play.
Yeah, Jerry's deep.
Jerry's a player, man.
Yeah, he loves bikes. He always goes for them. Every single season, he goes for about 3 or 4.
I'm a goalkeeper, bro. So when I see him in goal, that's when I'm like, oh shit, I'm on him. You know? I know he's always got something for us.
He always has. So he's a good dribbler too. So I always hope he gets a bike. Hopefully I get one. I'll tell him when you're there. I'll tell him.
Heck yeah, man.
Pop off.
I'll
try to loft one for him. I'll be like, all right, here we go. Loft it up.
Man, it'll be viral. You know it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I remember another viral clip that I saw from you was the soccer's really tall guy. He was like huge. I think it was last year. Super skinny tall guy.
Okay.
And the play wasn't even like that crazy, but it was just him making a good move, and the cross got blocked out or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it just like 2 million views right away, like right there.
Yeah,
like,
a lot of our videos are like that, man. Or a lot of videos are like it ends in nothing at all. But I mean, sometimes it's just nice to watch, you know.
Yeah.
Whether it's a good slide tackle or it's somebody not going down after they get kicked 2 or 3 times or
like good footwork or something.
Yeah, dude, it could be anything. You know, it doesn't have to be a goal. You just have to have the eye for it, and you have to be there for that moment. You know, which I think that's the hardest part. You know, I keep telling Alex, like, dude, don't let anything happen to you because I'm nothing without you. Like, if he leaves, bro, I've got no one else that I can teach this to. You know,
yeah.
Like, to have somebody else that can pay attention to the level that we do is not easy. You know, I think that's why there's not so many pages out there that are doing it, because you have to pay attention. You know, you can have all the camera guys that you want. You can have all the camera equipment that you want. You can pay $10,000 for your camera equipment and have the guy that's been producing movies since he was a kid. But if he's not involved with the game and he doesn't care about the game, it does not matter. You know, he's just gonna come up with some nice cinematic shit to put up on your page, get it from the crowd, get it from the players walking out, and what else? Where's the football?
Yeah,
You're a football
like
club.
the kickoff and that's it.
Where's the football? If you're a football club, you should have football on your page. You know, and if you don't, you're wrong because that's what you are. You're an FC, right? You're a football club.
Yeah, football club. It's got to be videos of your game.
Yeah,
and then the Fabrizio pictures of transfers and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And that's it, and that's all you need.
Don't get me wrong. If you want your cinematic videos up there every once in a while, I think it's cool to have them, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, how can you call yourself a football club if you don't have anything up of your players, of the plays that you guys make, the goals that you guys score, the stops, the slides, the possession games, you know, the runs. That's football. That's football at its essence. So if you don't have that on the page, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the VO cameras?
Yeah.
Because they can live stream now, which is.
Do you want to lose? Do you want to lose sponsorship deals?
I don't think I'm getting a sponsorship deal from VO, dude. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, any other soccer team would get one over me. So I'm not worried about that. But dude, what's your thoughts on them? I personally, I'm like, eh.
I think it's a good alternative if you don't want to pay attention to the game. I think that they're lazy. I'm sorry.
I think that they're bad for 11v11. They're too small. Like, they don't see the whole. Like, it's so bad.
Well, dude, even at Palatine, some teams had it at Palatine, and I saw the videos to them, and dude, nobody watches them. You know, at the end of the day, like, and it's not so much a VO problem. It's just a football problem. Period. Nobody wants to sit there and watch a 90-minute game. You know, it's unfortunate, but the people that do, like me and Alex, that are very far and few in between. Most people want to watch the goals. They want to watch the slide tackles, the saves. Nobody wants to sit there and wait 6 minutes for something to happen. Me and Alex don't care. We can sit here and do this all day, every day.
Yeah, I feel like it's more for the people that want the clips for themselves, for like college and stuff, which is like the youth athletes.
But then
I do
I've
feel like
seen
it's
those
good
videos
for
too,
young.
and they suck, man.
They're not good.
No,
the quality is. I
they're
think
blurry,
the camera.
They're far as hell.
Yeah, the camera is just not good enough. I think the camera needs to be stronger.
Honestly, I just think it needs another angle. I think a VO that covers 4 different angles is a different story.
Yeah.
If you can have one on each side of the field on different sides of the pitch.
I almost just think that they need the camera to zoom in more. Like, it's so blurry. I feel like every time I've watched a VO, I'm like...
That too. That's something
anything
that
that's happening outside of a 60-yard range is completely blurry. You can't even... You barely see the ball.
Yeah.
And then, like, the tracking motion, it's like a zoomed in... Everything's a zoomed in image, essentially. Yeah. And I feel like our phones are at such a high level to where, like, how can you not get the VO camera to be at a high level too?
I think that the difference, and everyone I think keeps missing it, is the human aspect. It's the person that's behind the camera. Again, like, you can have all the quality equipment and all the experience you want, but if you don't have somebody that understands the game behind it, it's pointless.
Yeah.
If you have somebody behind that can track the ball well, that can read the plays, that understands where he needs to be able to catch a certain play, that's way different. A VO just stands in the middle of the field and tries to get as much as it can.
It's very good for 7v7 though, I would say.
Yeah.
Like like the field is so small and the camera is perfect for it because it kind of captures everything, and you don't need to go so high, so it's a little bit lower of an angle so it looks nicer. Yeah. But for anything other than 7v7, I personally have not found it even useful at all. Yeah. Like, I'm like, I can't even explain this play to somebody to be like, this is what I need you to do here, because you can't even see it. Yeah. Unless it's like right in front of it.
Yeah, it's just not there. The technology is not there yet. Yeah. You know, ball tracking, I think it's huge. I even try to mess around with some of like the closer up ball tracking systems. And there's one, and I don't remember what the name was, and I guess it's good because I don't want to make it publicity. Yeah.
Well, have you seen it's like similar to like the head tracker on TikTok? Have you seen that one? No. Where they do dances and stuff, but their head stays just like still. Yeah. So it's like their whole body's moving, but their head stays still.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that trend?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I
that
don't
one's
think so.
hilarious. If there was a ball tracker like that, I don't know if I would like it or not.
It's the movements though, you
Yeah.
know. Even with the ball tracker, like it's the movements are so sudden sometimes. The game is so fast that if you don't change with the ball when it happens, you missed out on the play.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many videos I end up throwing away because what we're doing is we're watching the game through the lens, right? So we can see a little bit outside of that, but mostly we're watching the ball through here.
Mm-hmm.
So if like the ball's over there and I'm doing this and all of a sudden they switch possession like 3 times in a span of 5 seconds and I'm like, oh shit, where's the ball? And I'm looking for it. I throw those away, but you'll see some of them that I'm panning like this and I'm looking and
You're like,
yeah, it's not easy. So if it's not easy
dude.
for me, imagine for a ball tracker. You
Yeah.
know, that already has trouble keeping track of the ball.
yeah.
The Veo, at least, I know I've seen videos where like it's struggling to keep up with the ball. The ball's out of frame and it's still
Yeah,
trying
they
to
like pass
find
the
it.
ball and it's like moving slowly.
Yeah.
I remember those.
Yeah.
I do remember those.
And I mean, I don't know if it got better or not, but again, like it's for me, it's the human factor. It's just not there. You
Yeah.
know,
For me, it's the quality factor. I just feel like they
Yeah.
don't like their video quality is just not good enough yet.
yeah.
Maybe it'll get better in the next couple of years. Maybe we'll have a VO4, another version, God forbid.
Yeah.
That'll be able to live stream on Twitch now because the last one was you were live streaming on Facebook or I don't even
Yeah.
remember what it was, but yeah, you could buy like internet with it. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think people want to see this.
Yeah.
I don't think people care. I think people want to see high quality over like crappy quality.
And that's another thing. Like yesterday, I forgot who I was talking to. Oh, I was talking to Andrew. I don't know if
Okay.
you know if you've met Andrew yet over at Palatine.
Andrew.
the guy that helps out with like with all the medical stuff.
No, I haven't met him.
No,
No.
he's a cool guy, but I was talking to him and he was telling me about why don't I start putting like live videos up on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, well, I've seen the people
Wait,
that put it up.
Andrew on the
YouTube.
sideline?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, I do know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot what his last name is, man. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. I know him. I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, but I was like, honestly, it's because of the views. You know, go on, and this is not to trash anybody, but like go on any UPSL game, which is I think probably around the best kind of quality soccer you're gonna find around here.
Mm-hmm.
Go for any team, go look at their YouTube and go look at their viewership stats, and then go look at one of our viewership stats. Like I think that's proof enough right there that people don't want to watch your live stream. And again, that's something that I think a lot of people don't want to hear. I think that it's for owners, for club owners, it's nice for them to be able to say, oh yeah, it was live streamed and go check it out. It's on YouTube, right? It's nice to say that.
Yeah.
But like who actually does, right?
Yeah.
Like, and here's another example. We can put out 20 reels right off soccer.
Yeah.
But I have a podcast now, and this is going to be a second podcast. How many of those viewerships are going to transfer to this podcast?
Yeah.
Probably not a lot, right?
It depends.
People want to see the short stuff.
They
People
do.
don't want to see the long stuff. The people that want to see the long stuff are the people that are interested.
Yeah, because
know?
like the long term podcast content usually gets around like 100 to 500 views, and then the shorts, one short could get 500 views instantly,
No
like
problem.
within 2 days.
Right.
So like
Right.
that short stuff drives you to, but I would say the short stuff does drive you to the long stuff, so that if they do want to be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, this is interesting, what else do they talk about?
Yeah.
They come back to the regular main content.
I
show.
think at this level
But-
though, like if you want to see the full thing, you show up.
But for what
just go.
for what you're doing, you're not filming the full.
Yeah.
You're not filming the full game. That's not what you're doing. You're
Right.
you're gaining the clips. You're gaining all of that stuff, and it's high quality stuff.
Yeah.
But you could doom scroll on your account and see plenty of good clips, which
Yeah.
is fun.
I know.
'Cause
I've,
you can
I've
sit there and
gotten
be
lost
like-
there too.
And be like, yeah, that was sick. That's a
Yeah.
good one. So if you want it, I mean, you could have so many. You could have one customer just go through almost every video and be like, yeah, this is dope.
Yeah.
This is cool. And they could just like it. And once they find your channel, they can go watch like 30, 40 of your videos. And there's another 30, 40 views from one person.
Yeah.
And then that happens 10,000, 20,000 times. And then that's how you kind of grow.
Well,
So-
that's why we grew. You know, that was the whole point of our page. I don't know if you've noticed, but like almost none of our videos are past the 10-second mark. Well, there are some. I shouldn't say.
Yeah, there was one you said that was like minute 40.
Yeah,
But you
I
cut
don't.
it down,
so
though?
I don't put them in there. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how they come out of the game. But after I edit them, they come down to no more than 15 seconds. There's definitely not very much up there more than 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I think this last week, I did 2 posts where I did one that was 40 something seconds long. It was an Adria goal. And it was just because they were passing the ball back and forth like a million times. It was just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, and then Zaha scored it probably.
I don't remember who scored it, to be honest with you.
It was probably Zaha. He's got so many goals.
Bro.
He shared on his Facebook, and he was like, I didn't even know I was the number 1 goal scorer. He was like, I had no idea.
That guy's wild, man. I don't know. I don't know how no team has picked him up yet. Honestly,
yeah,
he's crazy,
and he's training every day. I know he is. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah.
That guy doesn't stop on the pitch. He gets out, and it's all day, every day soccer for him.
Which is good. Which is what you'd want.
Yeah.
But hopefully they get some advertisement through you, and then they'd be like, hey, wait, we saw this guy's clip. Let's pick him up.
Yeah. No, I don't know if it'd ever come back to us like that, but I'd be happy to hear that one player like Zaha made it, whether it was him or anyone else. I can name 4 or 5 other guys right now that I know are guys that deserve it, but unfortunately the game isn't about deserving it, right? The game is about getting it done. So to those guys, you know what you have to do,
Yeah.
Get out
I've also had a buddy who I played with, and he just straight up emailed and said, hey, I'm in Spain, like I'm here for the next month. I'm looking to do like trials, looking to try out. I played on this team. I'm running every day. I'm staying fit, everything. He's looking for an opportunity. He emailed I think 500 people, and got one person to talk back to him.
It's like
and then he ended up signing a League 2 contract.
No way.
A Liga 2, yeah.
Out of that one
place. Yeah. And then
that's awesome.
I was just like,
I love hearing
I was
that.
like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, I just emailed everybody, and every day I ran 5 miles in the morning as much as I could, went back, ate, sat on the computer, and just emailed. I looked up every club. I went from top down and just emailed them all.
Yeah.
In every league. And I was like, that's what you got to do.
You got to want
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Seriously. Because you could pull the Jamie Vardy. You could do that. That story, I feel like it's just so inspirational. But again, it's not possible in the United States, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Which is so stupid to me. But the Jamie Vardy story, for those who don't know, it's he started in 9th division?
Yeah.
8th or 9th division in England.
I know he wasn't playing pro.
Yeah, he was 8th or 9th division, which is amateur, and then MVP of the league of that 9th division. And everyone's like, oh, obviously. Well, nah, it's still pretty competitive down there.
Yeah.
It actually is.
Yeah.
They get paid. Sometimes you pay to play the league. As you get up, you get paid $100 a game, $50 a game, and then $25 for a goal. And it's weird how it works. Yeah. And then you get up more, and then you sign a contract, you get a salary, a 500 week salary or 200 week salary, and then you get the big bucks, which is 1,000 or 2,000 a week or 4,000 a week, and that's just that's Premier League or Championship. Yeah. But he essentially went from 9th division, MVP, signed a 5th division club, and then he also had the most goals, MVP, and then eventually got picked up by Leicester City, I think, and they were in the 2nd league, I think. They were in the 2nd division. And then he was their number 1 goal scorer. They won, got promoted, and then after the year they got promoted, they won the Premier League, which is insane.
Doesn't he have a Red Bull before the game, or have a
he has 3
at halftime or something?
He has 1 before the game, or 2 before the game, 1 at halftime.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's crazy. I remember there's one video of him just sitting in the tunnel with all the mascots, and he's just down in a Red Bull. I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
That's wild.
600 milligrams of caffeine. I mean, I guess, whatever works, right?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
He looks like he has 600 milligrams of caffeine on the field. He's wired
he's
up.
Locked in.
Whenever he scores, he always goes nuts. But
that's nuts.
What were we talking about before, Jamie Vardy? Just making it. Yeah. Just making
the
it. The
guys in Chicago that play their hearts out, man. You got to give it to them. And that's really why we do it. I want to say that we'd be happy if we only get one guy up there, but I want a lot of guys up there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of guys that we know right now that are training hard, that deserve it. Some guys are making it, but I don't feel like they should be at that. They should be at a higher level than
what they are.
Yeah. Not to knock them. Obviously, we do with what we can, with what we're given, right? But those some of those guys that play, professional indoor, I think can make it an outdoor.
Yeah.
They just need to be put in front of the right people.
Yeah.
And
Get the possible trial for a possible position.
yeah,
Just give them a chance.
yeah,
Let them prove themselves.
exactly.
So I feel like politics, and not like government politics, but like soccer politics plays a lot into
they're
that.
huge in Chicago, man.
It's huge. Like
Yeah.
if you don't know the right people, you're not getting in the right conversations. You're not.
I
Getting in
think
the right
that's
rooms.
also another reason why we don't get invited to many places, or some places don't want us around, because they think G&TACC, and for some reason they associate us with certain teams or with certain leagues. And
Really?
yeah, and I'm like, well, dude, we might have a little bit of more of their stuff up right now because we showed up to one of their games, but by
That's
no means does
crazy.
that mean that we're fans of them or.
Yeah. Your content to me has not been, hey, this is the one team
Yeah.
that you guys go see.
Well, we get it a lot. We've gotten people from teams accuse us of getting paid by Wisloka, people that accuse us of being Chicago Nation fanboys, people that say that we're always writing Chicago Black Cat,
the
and
Black Cat.
yeah,
But
I mean,
like here's the thing.
those are the better teams.
Here's the better like they're better teams, whatever.
Yeah.
That's not my point. My point is that's 4 different teams that you've
Yeah.
just named already. So like how does that make any relevance at all?
Some people are like this, man. Some people are very just.
I'm sorry, I don't like 4, 5, 6 teams
Yeah.
that you okay, that's 6 teams. That's basically an indoor league. Like what? That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
even-
literally an
or
indoor
even
league.
leagues like, oh, you record this league, you can't come over here. Like,
Oh, that's so
why
annoying.
not?
That's so stupid.
Don't you want to show that you got better teams in this league?
Yeah, and then
Like,
people will see your content and want to come to your league. Like that's
we've gotten kicked out of leagues.
I know referees that have got kicked out of games for just being a referee.
Yeah,
And it's just like, how does this make any sense? Like, well, we felt like, you went to this one event and you're biased and, we don't want you here. It's like, dude, I'm a referee. Like,
Yeah.
I'm reffing the game neutral. I'm not with any team. I go to one banquet and now all of a sudden I'm a biased person because I
Yeah.
went to a league banquet.
yeah.
It's like,
Guilty by association. Yeah,
that's so strange to me. Those are the politics that I very much dislike. And I feel like that could be fixed with a proper system, like we were talking earlier.
Yeah,
A proper system that is in place where the league is the one that owns the rules and the league is the one that's in control, and then each team has its own individual ownership.
yeah.
And then you have to follow the league's rules. You don't follow those league's rules, then you're done and you're out.
yeah,
And then those are standardized from top down.
yeah.
And then they're adjusted, obviously, as you get lower levels. Because
It's above my head, man. I don't want to fix it, to be honest with me. The people that don't want to associate with us, they
Yeah.
can pound rocks for all I care.
yeah, I know. I just wish that the higher competition players make sure that they don't get stuck in a league like that.
Yeah.
And they get themselves out there so they can express
That's what
themselves.
I'm really worried about.
Yeah.
I've told a couple of players that I know play in those leagues, like, those leagues aren't up to any good. I don't want to name leagues because I don't feel like they deserve it.
Yeah. We don't need to give them any platforms here.
No, not at all. But there are leagues that I've been to before where I know that they gamble on players, they gamble on teams, on games.
Like during the game?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I know paying players $100 a game.
Oh,
I
yeah,
get
no,
that.
that's
not
pretty-
that's different, right?
Yeah, no, they gamble. Like they gamble on goals scored, on mistakes, on score lines. Like it's straight up betting on the spot.
That's crazy. I mean, I guess it could get a different fan base. You could get a fan base. I don't know.
It's not a good one.
I don't know if it's the best
people
crowd
are
that you want.
The people that are involved in bad businesses around here.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like what's his name? Good old Tommy Shelby and the Peaky Blinders kind of vibes.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
all right, they were doing illegal stuff, obviously, if you've ever seen the show. So it's
Right.
illegal gambling, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Under the table kind of deal. So if that's the front runner and it's not.
Well, my worry with systems like that is that they tend to be obviously more money based. They
Yeah.
don't give a shit about the player, So if the player gets screwed up there, they get any sorts of messed up. Like the team that you're playing with, they're not gonna hook you up. They're not gonna help you. At Palatine, most of the guys that go back to play there is because that's their homegrown team.
Yeah.
That's where they came out of.
Or that's their homegrown league too,
Right?
Because they know the owners, they love the owners there. Those guys are good guys. They take care of you, and it's like your standard solid competition indoor league.
Yeah,
you know what you're getting, and it's, I mean, my opinion, I like it. So
and
UPSL does, or not UPSL, MSIL, is that the other one?
Yeah, MSIL Pro.
Yeah. That's another league where it's like, you know exactly where you're getting. Their ballers out there. That's a hard league to get into.
Yeah,
like, that's
for sure.
fun. Like,
for sure.
You know what you're getting out of it, and you know it's quality.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, there's a lot of like I was talking about those guys that play professional and indoor, and don't get me wrong, man, it's a great level. You know, I've gone to see a couple of those games, the Massville games, and they get intense. You know, they can play. They've got some real good players there.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's not the epitome of soccer, right? And I feel like a lot of these guys can get close.
Yeah, they could. I feel like they could. Indoor soccer is also a little bit weird because it's like the boards change the game.
That's huge for us, bro.
It changes the game so much.
Huge for us.
It changes it so much.
I tell Alex all the time, like we right now we're going a lot to SoFi La Pershing.
Okay.
And it looks really good because the players that play it are quality. You know, there's a lot of good quality guys that that are pretty well spread out across the entire league that play in different teams.
Mm-hmm.
So the board doesn't really get used too much, but it still affects the game enough to where it pisses me off.
Yeah, I know, because it's like you shoot the ball and it's like, even if you do miss, it's still in play. And it could be going the other way towards your own goal.
I'll tell you what, that might be the one aspect that I'm okay with, the fact that the ball never leaves, so it's a faster game because of it.
Yeah, it's so fast.
What I don't like about it is that players get sloppy because of it.
They do get really sloppy.
Because now it's really easy for me to ping a pass from my center back position all the way to the corner over there. It's going to rebound.
That's a strategy, though.
The guy doesn't even have to stop it nicely. He doesn't have to force himself to run up there fast and get to it.
Yeah, take a touch and
It's kind of like, whatever, I can get it off the boards and I'm still going to be able to, continue the play.
Yeah, the limitations of out of bounds is huge.
Bro, Palatine, that's why we're in love with it.
Yeah.
Because you give a bad pass in Palatine, everybody knows. You know, you give a good pass and you can see because the player is running to it and he knows that if he doesn't get there and it was a good pass, it's on him.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's accountability for
the bad pass got to bounce, turn the ball over, it changes the game.
Yeah.
It's a free turnover.
Dude,
so.
you force yourself to have a better touch. You force yourself to pass the ball better. You force yourself to stop the ball better. You force yourself to make more runs. You know, it's accountability for everyone when there's out of bounds. When there's no out of bounds, it's a shit show.
Yeah, bouncing here and there, and
I don't care about stopping this ball.
Still
nicely.
fun, but it's still crazy.
It's gonna hit the boards, and I'm gonna stop it on the second touch. Or it just makes for a messy game.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. So how's it filming? Is it nicer? Is it I mean, obviously you like Soccer City better.
Yeah, I'm in love with Soccer City. I think both Alex and I are, and it's just that it's what Soccer City is. It's bringing outdoor indoor, right?
Yeah.
Because we've been at other institutions where they play with a smaller field than Soccer City, and they play with more players on the field. And,
Whoa!
And it's a shit show. Yeah.
More players
on
a 7. Yeah. So what is that? 8v8?
No, it would be the Soccer City is not
76,
it's 66.
Yeah. So it's 77 on a smaller field.
77 on a smaller field, and the nets are huge, and I think you can get away with it if you know the style of soccer that needs to be played there. And an overcrowded pitch with 2 big ass nets is not it. You know?
No.
There's a lot of turnover and possession. There's a lot of.
It's got to be high scoring.
It is definitely high scoring.
It's got to be like 10-10 every game.
Yeah, it's high scoring. Again, the level's good, the players are good, the teams are good, but the style that you make them play is huge. I would love to have the players that play at Pershing play at Palatine, because you're making them work for it more. You know, you're expecting them to play up to the field now. And in those places where we go, again, I don't want to mention names or anything because I still think they're great leagues, but these little tweaks I think can help the league grow massively. And things like pitch size, like goal size, like the amount of players that are playing there, the types of refs you have too, all of that plays a huge role. We're in love with line soccer, but that doesn't mean that all line soccer is good. That particular place, people don't have. There's no what do you call them? There's no passing lanes. There's really no runs because people run into each other.
Yikes.
Yeah, so it's a lot of turnover and possession.
Yeah,
you know?
which is no fun. It almost like take players away so that it can be more soccer-like.
I brought that up. I'm like, dude, you should take away one player away from each side and have them play 6v6 the way Palatine does, and it still won't be the same. But you're gonna give each player more space to make runs, more space to give passes.
Yeah, because if you make a poor runner beat somebody 1v1 in Soccer City, it's actually like it means something.
Yeah,
because there's more space.
Yeah,
so you can actually take advantage of it.
And you as a defender, you're not completely out in the water. You can still track back and get the ball back when you have the space to do it.
Yeah, in that field, it sounds like you just turn the ball over, turn, take a touch. If it's a little bit too big, someone might take the ball from you right away.
Yeah, it's. We have to be particular about the kind of soccer that we want to put out. Unfortunately, sometimes we can't get that picky because the quality is where it is, whether they're playing with small goals or boards or not. But I think the perfect place would be multiplying Palatine. If we could multiply Palatine to every field in Chicago for indoor, you're essentially bringing outdoor and indoor. You're getting the outdoor plays and putting them somewhere on a smaller scale.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, even Intentional does that. I know, doesn't Canlin do that with the quad sectors?
Yeah, I've never really found a team, or not a team, I'm sorry, a field that's bigger than Palatine's.
Yeah, they're all smaller.
Yeah, every field that we've been to has been smaller than Palatine.
Also, Palatine is only soccer though.
Yeah,
a lot of the other fields are like soccer and baseball, and like there's so many lines in the field. I feel like that, in terms of content, would probably do better at Soccer City just because it's only soccer and there's no other lines in the field that make it look like weird.
Yeah. And even then, like, Soccer City is not our perfect dimensions. Alex and I were thinking about putting like a 7v7 tournament together for outdoor, and we have our dimensions for our field, and it's a tad bit bigger than Palatine. But we'd still be playing 6v6.
Interesting.
Or 7v7.
Or 7v7
with the keeper. Yeah, with the keeper.
Okay,
So, I mean, yeah, it really boils down to what you make guys play. They can be good technically. They can be fast or whatnot, but it depends on how much you also make them work.
Yeah, the quality content definitely is a thing.
I mean, we've been to like tournaments where they play on even smaller fields with smaller nets, and it just wasn't there for us either. Because it's way too small, and even if they play with the correct kind of people on there, you lose a lot of the aspects of a bigger field. Slide tackles are out of the question. Goalkeeper saves on a small net, well, they're out of the question.
Yeah.
Even a lot of the goals like end up being just slamming it into the net from really close. Like, how cool can that be?
Yeah, right. There's no like upper 90s or cool curlers or anything.
Right.
You'd see in like a bigger net.
Yeah. So a lot of the content, it really depends on the field that they're playing on.
Yeah.
So 11v11 for me, 100% is way better.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I think the original game, I personally do not like all of the colors and all the stupid craziness of all the like football lines and everything on the field.
Yeah.
It's so confusing to me half the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to judge distances when there's so many colors on the field.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I'm making a bunch of excuses. And
I
but
hate
like
colors too.
Dude, it's so much nicer to just play on a full size pitch with only the soccer lines. You feel like you have more space. It's like the illusion of all the colors makes it feel smaller, but it's not really smaller.
Well, you're also not worried about like what line you have to worry about so the ball doesn't go out.
Yeah, your brain can turn off a couple more functions so you can focus on soccer more. But yeah, I've noticed that a lot about every single quality of like recording and like all the VO cameras is that you only see it with like Libertyville's pitches because it's only soccer there.
Yeah.
Celtic, even soccer's, the Olympic Park only has those. Some fields have the 7v7 though, but mostly they have just 11v11. But then like any high school anywhere always has the football markings.
Yeah.
Any other public place always has.
It's just cost efficient.
17 different markings on it, and it's like.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It's
still one of the comments that we get all the time. God,
really?
All those lines on your pitch. Yeah, I know, man. I can't help that. There's nothing I can do.
So like the Europeans get mad about it too.
Yeah, they get pissed off if they see us damn Americans with all those lines on the field.
Yeah, and then they're
Oh,
like, "Why do you
bitch.
have all these lines?" Well, we use the field for 17 different
Yeah.
sports, so
And then we
it's
get
like,
bashed because we should not have lines on our fields. And I'm like, bro, I'm just showing up.
I'm just here so I won't get fined. You know what I'm saying?
When you said I don't like colors, I thought you were gonna say like all the crazy colors that like soccer gear has been made
No,
with.
I
and,
love
like,
that. That's my favorite.
Really? Oh,
But the thing is
I hate
that
it. I hate it. I'm
but
old
I love
school,
the
bro.
contrast of the green with the pink shoes.
Yeah.
Not the green, the white, the orange, and then the pink shoes. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
With the simplicity of a football pitch, you have the cool colors that come with it. But with it being all these crazy colors,
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter what shoes you're wearing now. So
Yeah, yeah.
I could agree with you that regular football shoes, you know, black or white or whatever.
Yeah.
Personally, I never will wear black shoes ever again.
No.
I can't.
Why?
The turf is too hot.
Yeah, I
The
guess.
turf is way too hot.
guess that's a
For
good
black
excuse.
shoes, they melt, dude.
Yeah.
I've had people had their cleats melt on the field, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
So white shoes? Would you go
white shoes.
You go white
I
shoes?
I have white and gold shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I either do that or like a bright color, just for the single fact of the fact that I don't want my shoes getting any hotter than they already are in the
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah,
That's the only reason. It has nothing to do with flashiness.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of flashy, but it's just all to do with the fact that I don't want my shoes to be black,
Yeah.
because I know that black is just gonna be fire hot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you're a classic guy.
Yeah, dude, I hate colors. I hate like shiny colors, right?
Yeah,
Bright
like the
colors.
plastic.
Yeah, the plastic, like the neon greens, the neon oranges, the bright pinks.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just I've always been a more reserved kind of guy, I guess you
Mm-hmm.
could say. I like classy colors. I like dark colors.
Yeah. Well, my indoor shoes are black because it doesn't matter because it's not outdoor. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's not gonna be hot.
Yeah,
Like it's not
sure.
gonna be burning outside. So I do like the black
Yeah.
aesthetic as well.
Yeah, for me, like simplicity, like less is more. You know?
Yeah.
Um,
I totally agree with that with soccer shoes.
yeah, less is more. You know, the less colors I have, the less divisions I've got, the simpler it looks. I think the more functional it is.
Yeah. So you're not a Puma fan then, basically, with the one color shoe and then the other one's a different color.
No, not the new ones, right?
The new ones are insane.
But the Kings are beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the Kings.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those were two colors basically, white and black, or white or black and white.
Yeah, black
you
and
know?
white. Yeah, they're just that's all you can get.
Yeah.
And the stripe or the Puma color was just different.
Right,
So
right.
when it was
right.
black, Puma was white, and then it was just flip flopped.
Yeah, yeah. Or even if they have color, like I had a pair of Premiers, Nike Premiers.
Okay, yeah,
They
yeah.
were blue, like navy blue. And I love those shoes, man. They were leather, so they fit nice. And the dark blue. I don't know, man. It's just for me the wine colors.
Yeah.
The wine colors.
Yeah. No, I get
like
that.
Burgundy, like dark blue.
Yeah, you don't need the
forest green.
flashy. You don't need the flashy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. So you don't need my logo flashy.
I like your logo.
He likes the logo, doesn't like it on his shoes though.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd stamp it on my shoe, but I'd get a tattoo on my forehead that says Jacob.
There you go.
Jacob Koutas.
Tattoo.
Yeah.
In the colors, white, pink, and blue.
Why not?
There you go. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I remember I grew up on the F30s, which were a dark purple.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the lime green ones. It was like the dark purple ones.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of those because they weren't flashy, but they were like sleek enough to where you were like, oh, that guy balls. Like, you know that guy balls.
Yeah.
But yeah, the super orange hypervenoms and stuff, the really bright pink ones. I never was drawn to them.
I could never wear those shoes anyway. I could never wear them.
Are your feet like wide like
yeah,
mine?
I have wide feet.
Yeah.
So the Vapors were a no-go.
Yeah. Same
a
with
lot
me.
of the shoes were no-goes.
Pumas are the best for wide feet. Also the what's the Adidas one with all the stuff on it? The Predators.
The Predators?
Yeah, the Predators
Yeah.
are pretty wide foot. Tiempos are very wide feet.
Bro, I love the Tiempos.
Tiempos for wide feet. If you guys need wide feet shoes, Tiempos.
The Nike Legend 3s.
Legend 3s, I haven't
Yeah.
tried those.
Oh man, beautiful shoe.
Yeah?
For me, it's the perfect shoe.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's.
I'll have to try
If
it.
I can have one shoe for the rest of my life, it'd be that one.
The Legend 3s.
Legend.
It's
3s.
crazy how many people gatekeep like a lot of the shoes from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're like selling for like $500 now. It's nuts. Because everyone's like,
Yeah.
I remember those shoes. I need those again. Where can I buy them? They go to like Facebook Marketplace or eBay and they're like $500
Yeah.
for a brand new pair.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was so I bought the Premier ones, the very first ones that came out, Nike.
Okay.
I bought 4 pairs. I bought and by mistake because I thought I thought it was a 10 and I wasn't. I'm a 9.5.
Okay.
So I bought 210s first, a black one, a black pair, all black,
Mm-hmm.
and then a pair in white and black. It was all white with the black swoosh, right? They,
Yeah,
they look sleek. They look
yeah,
good.
it looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wore them, and I didn't even wear them out. I just put them on inside the house. I'm like, oh, shit, these are too big.
Too big.
Yeah, so I just put them inside the boxes and put them up, and I just bought another 2 pairs, right? Now in the
Okay.
house. I wasn't doing so bad financially, so I could do it, right?
Yeah.
So I just put them up, and I bought my pairs, and I used them. Flash forward maybe about 2 years. Um, I was cleaning out my closet. I'm like, oh shit,
Mm-hmm.
these are still here. Like, I'm gonna put them on sale. See how much I can get for them. I bought them for $60, bro.
Okay.
I go on eBay and I'm seeing somebody selling them for $350, the soft ground version. Yeah, $350 the soft ground version. And I'm like, well, shit. I know people can't get these then if they're charging this for soft ground. People can't
Yeah.
use soft ground as it is. Most
Yeah.
people can't.
Right.
So I put mine up for $50 more. I'm like, $400. Let me see what happens. The kicker from the Dallas Cowboys ended up reaching out and buying them for me.
The kicker from the
Yes.
Dallas Cowboys.
I forgot his name, and I still have his eBay account on my eBay account. But my the address where I sent him said, I think it's like Cowboy Way or something, or Dallas Way or something.
Dallas Way.
Yeah, like where
No
they stay.
way.
Yeah, so I sent it to him. He was a Canadian kicker, and he said that at that point the 3s I think were out, or the 2s were out.
Okay.
And he's like, I had them and I can't get used to them. He's like, I've tried kicking with them and I can't get used to them. I need the ones back.
You're the
But I
guy.
can't
You're
find
the
them
guy who
anymore. I'm
helped
like,
the Dallas. That is crazy.
he was mad. He didn't want to pay for them.
He didn't want to pay for them.
I was like, come on, bro. You make money.
You make. First of all, I was just trying to sell it to some random Joe Schmo. You are definitely a person who can afford these shoes.
right. And see, that's kind of where I realized too, like, people will pay the amount necessary to get what they feel gives their game an edge.
Yeah. What was that saying you said earlier? The Mexican saying.
The what?
Spanish saying. About
What did
like
I say?
like worth, quality, but cheap.
Oh yeah, bueno, bonito y barato, right?
There you go. That's it. That's it right there.
Yeah. Well, they weren't cheap, right? You had to pay for them.
So they're quality, like you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where I made the correlation. Like, people will pay whatever they have to pay for something that they feel gives them that edge on the field. In this case, this guy thought that these shoes were helping his game in one way or another. That's why he felt like he had to dish out the money for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I put 2 and 2 together, and I'm like, it's kind of going into what I want to do. We want to make shoes, right? But we don't want to just make a shoe and just call it a day and say buy them, right? We want to make a shoe that is functional for the player. Essentially we want you guys to help us make the shoe. We want you guys to tell us what were the best functions of the best shoes that you've ever had and the worst functions, so that we can avoid them. And just come up with really one shoe that is the shoe for everyone. And we obviously, I know it's not going to be the shoe for everyone, but the closest thing to it, the shoe that you feel gives your game a competitive edge, and that you're sure it's not going to change by the next season. Which is a problem that I had, and again, a problem that this guy was obviously having, where you finally find that shoe that you absolutely love, that you feel gives you that competitive edge. And next season, Nike or Adidas revamps the shoe. And now you don't have that shoe. Now you're out in the water and you have to look for another shoe that fits, or you have to pay a stupid amount like this guy unfortunately had to pay with me, right? I mean, that's just the name of the game, you know? And unfortunately, it's what Adidas and Nike now are causing with what they do with the shoes. They're more enamored with the numbers and making the numbers work for them than they are about providing actually something that people can use for generations.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. I want to make a shoe that I can say, look, this is the best shoe, not because I'm saying it, but everyone is helping make the shoe, and people keep buying this shoe. We year in, year out. After every year, this shoe's fucked up, I'm gonna buy another pair because they never change. It's gonna be the same shoe. And that's what I want to build. That's what we want to make.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah.
I think the number one shoe that is the Samba.
The Samba?
I don't think it's going away ever.
Yeah.
I don't think that shoe's going anywhere.
I'm not a big fan. I did wear them. And actually, I do have a pair. I have an all black pair. But I feel like they're too wide.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
wide.
They're
Yeah.
almost fashion now.
I have
it's
a
not even
pretty
like
wide
performance. Foot. It's just like teenage girls are like, yeah, I got my Sambas on.
Yeah.
It's like, Like,
Yeah.
these are shoes that you're supposed to be gaming. You're supposed to be playing footy in this. You're not supposed to be walking around the mall.
Yeah. Like they've lost their touch, right? Yeah, no, I mean, and again, I want to make it visually appealing to most people, and I think for that,
Yeah.
it has to be simple too. It can't have too much. Um, so like I'm a huge fan of the power swerves, the Adidas power swerves.
Yeah.
How they had that whole plastic piece in the front side of their foot here. And I'm looking at it, man, that looks really cool, but I can't have that on my shoe. Like that's way too much.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I
a
agree.
lot.
I mean, it's like the Predator. Sometimes all those different features on it. It's like, I don't need all these features.
Yeah.
I don't need to curve the ball like that with these kind of. That's gonna be weird for me.
Well, I think there's other ways to do it that might be a little more subtle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stickier leather. Maybe instead of all leather, some rubber components in there. Just making different parts of the shoe a different way. You know.
Yeah.
Without having to add those kind of components. So like I was also looking at the Mizuno, the Rebulas. I don't know if you got to wear the version 2s, but they have, it's all leather, right? The shoe is all leather, kangaroo leather, and then towards the inside they have like it's still leather, but it's like a stickier leather.
Interesting.
Or they treat it in a way to where the inside is a bit stickier than the rest, and it's for control. You know, it's so that you can stop the ball better, I guess, or you feel like you have more control over the ball that way.
Yeah, and these subtle differences make a big impact.
Huge difference.
They make a huge difference.
Especially when you're at that level of the game where, you know, a millimeter counts. You know, a millimeter is the reason why you commit a foul or you get the ball, you know, or it can be the reason why you get the shot off and the defender, you know, stops it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that little fingertip save. That's
all you need.
This right here is the gap between a goal and not a goal.
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly.
That's the margins we're dealing with here.
Yeah. It's important to get all those little details right. Yeah. So that's what we want to do. We want to see how we can kind of position the idea with the players that we already kind of communicate with on a daily basis. And get them to interact with us in a way that shows us what kind of shoe they want made. I think that's the key of this whole ordeal. This is not just to make a shoe, and call it a G&TACC shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Make a shoe that I know is going to work because players had their hand in it, you know?
Yeah. Player designed shoe.
Yeah.
For performance.
Yeah, and I think like Nike and Adidas and Puma and all those big brands, I think they finally got too big for their own goods to where they might have people that are maybe interested in making the shoe, but they're not football guys, right?
Yeah.
They might have other jobs that they're worried about. Like I'm worried about giving you guys this shoe, right? These guys are worried about their numbers. They're worried about
aesthetics is
huge.
It's always huge.
Yeah. The promotions that they can get with players, you know, what player can we buy for this ad, or that's more of what they're worried about. I'm worried about bringing a shoe that, you know, the player that is looking to play competitively can use forever. You know, this shoe is the shoe that I feel brings a certain aspect to my game. And I want this shoe to be around forever, you know, and he doesn't have to buy 3-4 pairs and treat them like they're royalty for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
you know?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like that shoe and then sell it $400 to Dallas.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was wild. I didn't want to like I didn't want to extort the guy, right?
Yeah,
but
no, yeah.
I was also not in a great spot. My financials have never been like always steady, you know.
Yeah.
Right now they're not doing too bad, but then I started doing G&TACC and here we are, right?
Yeah, you're spending all your weekends filming instead of like working or doing a little side job. But,
yeah.
I mean, you're building something though, which is good.
I hope we're building something. And if not, then at the very least it was a fun pastime. You know, that's the way I see it. Either way, I was going to be involved.
Awesome clips for a bunch of awesome people, and they're going to definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have to be involved in one way or another, you know. I can never just leave this game and call it a day and just never come back to it. I started the company basically because I stopped playing. And it was my way of getting back to the ball. If I can't play it, I'm going to watch it. If I can't watch it, I'm going to be involved somehow, you know. So yeah, that's kind of why G&TACC was born, because I couldn't be without it.
Yeah,
I can't
that
be
is
without the game.
amazing story, dude.
Yeah.
That is an amazing story. All right, well, I'm good if you're good.
Yeah.
Want to wrap it up? Cool.
Yeah, why not,
Yeah,
man?
thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Of
Your
course.
story is super cool. We're definitely going to be reaching out to all my people if we have any fans that want to get your merch and stuff once you get that up and rolling.
Yeah, man.
I can help you out with some of the stuff if you
I'll
need to.
bring you a
but
bottle, so like the next
You
time
know,
that you have a someone
sticker or whatever.
here, yeah, you can just put it on a table or something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let me know. I got some stuff from some
Oh,
other
actually,
guests too,
you know
so
what? I'm glad we get to do this, I guess, while it's still running. But
Let's do it.
here you go. This is for you.
Ooh. You already know.
Yeah.
Rapid.
It's a keychain.
Where can I throw this? Oh, where's the open side? There it is.
Yeah, it's
like
like a
hidden.
G&TACC keychain.
G&TACC keychain.
Yeah.
I'm looking the wrong way.
It's one of those things that I spent money on, and then I felt bad that I wanted to sell it, so I just have it sitting there in my closet.
You should start. You should start handing these out
Yeah.
at the games.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
at some point we have to do something with them.
I mean, yeah. I would be like. I mean, I love this. Play your heart out. That's
Yeah.
great. Because I mean, in all honesty, like your stories on here, the grit, the art of controlled chaos. I would say just hand these out. It's free advertising.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you already bought it,
Yeah.
you're not gonna sell them.
Sitting there.
You just be like, hey, would you guys want a keychain? I got you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, cool. Hand them
Yeah.
out. You're good. But yeah, cool. All right, lastly, let's go to head in the camera, give yourself a shout out, all your social medias and stuff, so we can give you a follow and we'll wrap it up.
G&TACC Sports. That's GN as in Nancy. TACC, TACC Sports. We're on all platforms, so TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is the one that I think is more worth looking at. But yeah, that's we're on everything.
Yeah, appreciate it. Go follow him. Go subscribe to him. Help support the channel. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. Peace.
Of course.